بيان أن الربا لا يجوز من المسلم والكافر مع تفصيل ما قاله العلماء. Clarification that usury is not permissible from the Muslim or the non-Muslim, with some detail of what some scholars said. The purpose of going through this chapter is for not withholding the knowledge, not hiding the knowledge, and for the benefit of those who really are in desperate need of this type of information if they want to avoid the haram. اعلم أن أكثر العلماء على عدم جواز الربا من مسلم أو كافر مطلقا. Know that most of the scholars are of the opinion of the lack of permissibility, the impermissibility of usury, riba, from a Muslim or a non-Muslim, absolutely. وأجازه بعض إذا كان بين مسلم وحربي في دار حرب. And some have permitted it if it were between a Muslim and a non-Muslim in the non-Muslim country. وكان الرابح هو المسلم, when the Muslim is the profiter, is the winner in the deal. What I learned, it means that he has a benefit in doing that. He has a benefit in doing that. But some scenarios you need to ask, though, to make sure that you understand that properly or what it is you're trying to get involved in. Maybe it's clear your benefit, or maybe you might wonder if something is your benefit. So be mindful there. And قال ابن عابدين في حاشيته, Ibn Abidin said in his commentary, ما نصه, quote, أقول, I say, وعلى هذا فلا يحل أخذ ماله بعقد فاسد. It is not lawful to take the non-Muslim's money by an invalid contract. بخلاف المسلم المستأمن في دار الحرب. As opposed to, according to their madhab, Hanafi school, some of them, as opposed to the Muslim who is living in the non-Muslim country. فَإِنَّ لَهُ أَخْذَ مَالِهِمْ بِرِضَاهُمْ. For indeed, he has the permission to take their money with their acceptance. That means if they gave it to him, accepting to give it to him, then he can take it from them, according to that. وَلَوْ بِرِبَا أَوْ قِمَارٍ. Even if that were by usury or by gambling. By usury, such as you put your money in the bank and they give you interest. They add to your money for putting your money in the bank. So then you're getting the benefit. But now you're following what? Hanafi school in particular. So now you need to learn rules of zakah for Hanafi school. Because you just committed yourself to the Hanafi school here. As for the gambling, that's if, according to them, you're sure you will win, and then you put up a wager, and you won, and you took it. You can. We will see what the Shaykh has for us here. وفي الدر المختار ما نصه. In الدر المختار, it is documented, quote, لا تصير دار الإسلام دار حرب إلا بأمور ثلاثة. The Muslim country would not become a non-Muslim country except by three ways, three matters. بإجراء أحكام أهل الشرك, by the implementation of the rules of the people of paganism. وباتصالها بدار الحرب, and to be on the border with the non-Muslim country. وبألا يبقى فيها مسلم أو ذمي آمن بالأمان الأول, and by there not being there any Muslim or dhimmi, the non-Muslim subject of Islamic State, who is safe according to the original safety. وقال, and he said, قوله لا تصير دار الإسلام دار حرب, when he said the Islamic country would not become the non-Muslim country, أي بأن يغلب أهل الحرب على دار من دورنا, meaning by the non-Muslims taking over, dominating or taking control of one of our countries. أو ارتد أهل مصر, or the people of a metropolis apostatize, وغلبوا, and then they take over, like they do a coup. وأجروا أحكام الكفر, and then they apply the rules of blasphemy. أو نقض أهل الذمة العهد, or the people who were non-Muslims under Islamic rulership, accepting Islamic rulership, they break their agreement. وتغلبوا على دارهم, and then they do a coup and take over that country or that area. ففي كل هذه الصور, so in all of these scenarios, لا تصير دار حرب, that won't become a non-Muslim country or land, إلا بهذه الشروط الثلاثة, except by these three conditions. وقال بشرط واحد, and the two companions of Abu Hanifa said of one condition, لا غير, and nothing more, وهو إظهار حكم الكفر, which is implementing the laws of blasphemy. وهو القياس, and it says وهو القياس, I won't translate that. وقال محمد بن الحسن, and Muhammad ibn al-Hasan said, تصير دار الإسلام دار حرب بأن يظهر الكفار فيها أحكام الكفر باشتهار. The Muslim country would become a non-Muslim country by the blasphemers there implementing the laws of blasphemy openly. According to the Hanafis, the Muslim country could become non-Muslim country. Others said the Muslim country will never become a non-Muslim country. Once it became a Muslim country, it never reverts back to being a non-Muslim country. So then, what's the judgment of Spain? Definitely, what's the judgment of Palestine? Yeah, they would have to be Muslim countries according to those who said it will always remain a Muslim country. So what we learned, according to the Hanafis, if someone was in Lebanon, then he can deal with those banks and stuff. But according to a Shafi'i, for example, he can't, because that's a Muslim country. وفي كتاب الإنصاف للمرداوي الحنبلي ما نصه, and in the book Al-Insaf by Al-Mardawi the Hanbali, quote, وقال في المستوعب في باب الجهاد يجوز الربا بين المسلم والحربي الذي لا أمان بينهما. And in the book Al-Insaf by Al-Mardawi, and in the book Al-Insaf by Al-Mardawi, the Hanbali, quote, and he said in Al-Mustawa'ab, the author of Al-Mustawa'ab said in this book, in the chapter of jihad, يجوز الربا بين المسلم والحربي الذي لا أمان بينهما. Permissible is usury between the Muslim and the non-Muslim when there is no treaty between them. ونقله الميموني وقدمه ابن عبدوس في تذكرته. Al-Maymuni logged that, and Ibn Abdus presented it in his Tadhkirah. وهو ظاهر كلام الخراقي في دار الحرب حيث قال, and this is what appears of the talk of Al-Khiraqi when one is in the non-Muslim country, حيث قال, where he said, وَمَنْ دَخَلَ إِلَى أَرْضِ الْعَدُوِّ بِأَمَانٍ لَمْ يَخُنْهُمْ فِي مَالِهِمْ وَلَا يُعَامِلُهُمْ بِالرِّبَا. Whoever entered the non-Muslim land in safety does not betray them in their money, and he does not practice usury with him. Intaha. So, originally this quote is from a Hanbali. In the end, he gave this judgment where he said, no riba in the non-Muslim country. وقال السرخسي الحنفي في المبسوط. And As-Sarakhsi, the Hanafi, said in Al-Mabsut, قال رحمه الله, he, may Allah have mercy on him, said, I'm not sure who is he, who's As-Sarakhsi referring to. قال رحمه الله, he said, may Allah have mercy on him, ذكر عن مكحول عن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. It was mentioned from the route of Makhul, from the Messenger of Allah صلى الله عليه وسلم, لا ربا بين المسلمين وبين أهل دار الحرب في دار الحرب. There is no usury between the Muslims and the non-Muslims in the non-Muslim country. وهذا الحديث وإن كان مرسلا. And this hadith, although the intermediary between the follower and the messenger is unknown, فمكحول فقيه ثقة. Makhul is a trustworthy scholar. He is a jurist. He's a faqih. In those old days, faqih meant mujtahid. So I don't know if the terminology had gone down by that time. That's a tabi'i, a follower of the companions. So the original meaning of faqih was mujtahid. He said, فَمَكْحُولٌ فَقِيهٌ ثِقَةٌ. Makhul is a faqih, and he's trustworthy. وَالْمُرْسَلُ مِنْ مِثْلِهِ مَقْبُولٌ. And a hadith in which the intermediary between the follower and the messenger is unknown from someone like him being the follower, narrating that from the messenger, is acceptable. وَهُوَ دَلِيلٌ لِأَبِي حَنِيفَةٍ. And that's a proof. This hadith is a proof for Abu Hanifa. وَمُحَمَّدٍ رَحِمَهُمَ اللَّهِ. and for Muhammad ibn al-Hasan al-Shaybani, may Allah have mercy on both of them. Ta'ala, exalted is He. في جواز بيع المسلم الدرهم بالدرهمين من الحرب في دار الحرب. Evidence that it is permissible for a Muslim to sell a golden coin for 2 golden coins to the non-Muslim in the non-Muslim country. Intaha, end quote. ثم قال أيضا, and then he also said, وَكَذَلِكَ لَوْ بَاعَهُمْ مَيْتَةً, and likewise, if he sold them dead meat, haram meat, if he sold them haram meat, mayta, but not for them to eat it, like if they want to feed it to their dogs, for example, not to help them do something haram, like if they wanted to feed it to their animals, for example. أو قامرهم, or he bet them. وأخذ منهم مالا بالقمار, and then he took money from them by gambling. فذلك المال طيب له عند أبي حنيفة ومحمد رحمهما الله تعالى. That money is good for him, according to Abu Hanifa, and Muhammad is طيب, and Muhammad ibn al-Hasan. So when the Hanafis say, and Muhammad, then they mean Muhammad ibn al-Hasan al-Shaybani. So I don't have to always say all of his name out, as long as you're following the context. May Allah have mercy on both of them. Exalted is He. Intaha, end quote. ثم قال, and then he said, قال Muhammad said, وبلغنا أن أبا بكر الصديق رضي الله عنه قبل الهجرة حين أنزل الله تعالى. And it reached us that Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, may Allah accept his deeds, before the migration, when Allah Ta'ala revealed Alif Lam Mim غُلِبَتِ الرُّومُ في أدنى الأرض وهم من بعد غلبهم سيغلبون, which means Rome will be defeated in the lowest depression in the earth, and then after their defeat they shall win. As Surah Al-Rum, ayahs 1 through 3. قال له مشركو قريش, the pagans of Quraysh said to Abu Bakr, ترون أن الروم تغلب فارس, you think Rome will defeat Persia? فقال نعم, and so he said yes. فقالوا هل لك أن تخاطرنا على أن نضع بيننا وبينك خطرا? They said, you want to bet us on that? Loose translation. فإن غلبت الروم أخذت خطرنا, if Rome wins, you take our wager. وَإِنْ غَلَبَتْ فَارِسْ أَخَذْنَا خَطَرَكْ, and if Persia wins, we'll take your wager. فَخَاطَرَهُمْ أَبُو بَكْرٍ رَضِيَ اللَّهُ عَنْهُ عَلَى ذَلِكَ. So Abu Bakr, may Allah accept his deeds, bet them on it. ثم أتى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وأخبره. Then he went to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and informed him. فقال, and so he said, اذهب إليهم فزد في الخطر وأبعد في الأجل. He said, go to them and increase the wage and extend the deadline. فَفَعَلَ أَبُو بَكْرٍ رَضِيَ اللَّهُ عَنْهُ. And so Abu Bakr did so. May Allah accept his deeds. وَظَهَرَتِ الرُّومُ عَلَى فَارِسٍ. And then Rome defeated Persia. فَبُعِثَ إِلَى أَبِي بَكْرٍ رَضِيَ اللَّهُ عَنْهُ. And so a message was sent to Abu Bakr, may Allah accept his deeds. أَن تَعَالَ فَخُذْ خَطَرَكَ. Come and get your winnings. فَذَهَبَ وَأَخَذَهُ. So he went and he took it. فَأَتَى النَّبِيَّ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ. And then he went to the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم. فَأَمَرَهُ بِأَكْلِهِ. And the Prophet commanded him to consume it. Yani he allowed him to keep it and use it and benefit from it. صلى الله عليه وسلم. وَهَذَا الْقِمَارُ لَا يَحِلُّ بَيْنَ أَهْلِ الْإِسْلَامِ. And this gambling is not permissible between the people of Islam. وَقَدْ أَجَازَهُ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ بَيْنَ أَبِي بَكْرٍ رَضِيَ اللَّهُ عَنْهُ وَهُوَ Muslim. The Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam permitted it between Abu Bakr, may Allah accept his deeds, and he was a Muslim, وَبَيْنَ مُشْرِكِي قُرَيْشٍ. And between the pagans of Quraysh. لِأَنَّهُ كَانَ بِمَكَّةٍ. Because he was in Mecca. فِي دَارِ الشِّرْكِ. In the land of paganism. حَيْثُ لَا يَجْرِي أَحْكَامُ الْمُسْلِمِينَ. Where the laws of the Muslims are not being applied. That's all what we're saying now. They're giving their evidence for that. Can we do that with the kuffar now in Darul Harb? Yes, according to them. وَلَقِيَ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ رُكَانَهُ. And once the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam met Rukanah. He was a famous strong man. Bi'a'la Mecca. He met him at the plateau of Mecca. فَقَالَ لَهُ رُكَانَهُ. And so Rukanah said to him, هَلْ لَكَ أَن تُصَارِعَنِي عَلَى ثُلُثِ غَنَمِي. You want to wrestle me for a third of my flock? فَقَالَ صَلَوَاتُ اللَّهِ عَلَيْهِ نَعَمْ. And so he said, may the peace and blessings from Allah Ta'ala be upon him. Yes. وَصَارَعَهُ فَصَرَعَهُ. So he wrestled him and he pinned him. Al-Hadith. Until the end of the hadith. إِلَى أَنْ أَخَذَ مِنْهُ جَمِيعَ غَنَمِهِ. Until he took all of his flock. Yani he beat him 3 times. He beat him the first time. He said, all right, again. And then he put up more. And then he beat him again. And he said, again. And he put up the rest. And he beat him again. He took his whole flock. ثُمَّ رَدَّهَا عَلَيْهِ تَكَرُّمًا. And then he gave it back to him out of nobility. وهذا دليل على جواز مثله في دار الحرب بين المسلم والحربي. And this is evidence for the permission of doing like that in the non-Muslim country, between the Muslim and the non-Muslim. انتهى كلام السرخسي بلفظه. That's the end of the quote of As-Sarakhsi verbatim. That man, he embraced Islam. May Allah have mercy on him. وقال الشيخ محمد كامل الطرابلسي الحنفي في الفتاوى الكاملية ما نصه. And said Shaykh Muhammad Kamil Al-Tarabulusi, the Hanafi, in Al-Fatawa Al-Kamila, the complete verdicts, or the perfect verdicts. Quote, سئلت عن مسلم في دار حرب عامل حربيا بالربا. I was asked about a Muslim in a non-Muslim country who dealt with a non-Muslim in usury. فأخذ منه مبلغا وافرا على وجه الربا. And so he took from him a big amount by way of usury. هل يحرم عليه ذلك أم لا? Is that permissible for him or not? فالجواب, and so the answer is لا يحرم عليه ذلك عند الإمام الأعظم وصاحبه الإمام محمد. That is not forbidden for him according to the greatest Imam and his companion Muhammad, خلافا للثاني أبي يوسف رحمه الله تعالى الجميع, as opposed to the other companion of Abu Hanifa, Abu Yusuf, may Allah have mercy on all of them. He didn't agree. And calling Abu Hanifa the greatest Imam, our Shaykh said, not saying that is better. Abandoning that is good. He doesn't accept for Abu Hanifa to be called the greatest Imam, nor for Ash-Shafi'i, for example. But the Hanafis do that famously. They call Abu Hanifa Al-Imam Al-A'zam. قال في الكنز, the author of Al-Kanz said, ولا ربا بين المسلم والحربي ثمة. There is no usury between a Muslim and a non-Muslim there. قال شارحه, I don't know how to read his name here. Miskeen, something there, I don't know. خلافا لأبي يوسف والشافعي. He said, this one, part of his name is Miskeen. He said, as opposed to Abu Yusuf, that's the second companion of Abu Hanifa, and a Shafi'i, he doesn't accept that. وَإِنَّمَا قُيِّدَ بِقَوْلِهِ ثَمَّةً. And he only limited what he said when he said there, لأنه لو دخل دارنا حربي بأمان, because if a non-Muslim entered our country in safety, فباع منه مسلم درهما بدرهمين, and then a Muslim sold him a golden coin for 2 golden coins, لا يجوز اتفاقا, that would be impermissible by agreement. Intaha, end quote. Naqul, our Shaykh says, we say, وَنَحْنُ لَا نُحَبِّذُ لِأَنفُسِنَا وَلَا لِغَيْرِنَا الْعَمَلَ بِذَلِكَ. We do not like for ourselves nor for anyone else to practice that. وَإِنَّمَا نَنْقُلُ مَا قَالَهُ مَنْ قَبْلَنَا مِنَ الْأَئِمَّةِ. And merely we are documenting, conveying what was said before us from the Imams, meaning from some of them. لأن كثيرا من الناس اليوم صاروا منغمسين في الربا. Because many people today are drowning in usury. في الربا المتفق على تحريمه, in the usury that there's an agreement that it is forbidden. وهو أخذ الربا من بنوك المسلمين, which is to take usury from the Muslim banks. I have a footnote. In the Gulf, they established what they claim to be Islamic banks. في الخليج وضعوا بنوك إسلامية على زعمهم. وإذا قيل لأحدهم, and if it were said to any of them, توكل على الله, rely on Allah, وضع مالك في بيتك, and put your money in your house. يقول, such a one would respond, إن في ذلك هلاكنا, if we do that, we would be ruined. ولا يقبل إلا أن يضع ماله في أحد البنوك, and he will not accept but to put his money in one of the banks. فقلنا لهم, and so we say to them, بعض الشر أهون من بعض, some evil is lighter than others. That's true. Some fools say every evil is equal and one act of evil is the same as two. إن كان ولا بد أن تضعوا أموالكم في بنوك المسلمين, if it is that you must put your money in the Muslim banks, أو في بنوك مشتركة بين المسلمين وغيرهم في دار إسلام ودار حرب, or to put it in banks shared between Muslims and others in the Islamic country and in the non-Muslim country, فأهون الشرين أن تضعوا أموالكم في بنك حربي على الوجه الذي يبيحه الإمام المجتهد محمد بن الحسن في البلاد التي لم يتحقق فيها إلا ذلك الشرط الواحد. Then the easiest, the lightest of two evils is to put your money in the non-Muslim bank in the way permitted by the Imam and the Mujtahid, Muhammad ibn al-Hasan, in the countries in which nothing is verified but that single condition. What did Muhammad ibn al-Hasan say? Here. وقال محمد بن الحسن, and said Muhammad ibn al-Hasan, تصير دار الإسلام دار حرب, the Muslim country would become a non-Muslim country, بأن يظهر الكفار فيها أحكام الكفر باشتهار, by the non-Muslims implementing openly the rules of blasphemy. That's the only condition he mentioned. Okay. Why don't we stop here then?